Isolate, man. Just because that's your man's, that don't mean you give him perms, bro.
Stop giving
You
these niggas
might get
perms, bro.
stripped too, nigga.
Please stop giving these
All
niggas
right,
perms.
chill. All right, chill.
Like,
Careless,
weirdo, bro.
careless. Put
Bro,
that ass.
bro, I got you, bro.
Yeah.
Go first, bro. Go first, bro.
We believe in you.
Niggas a loser. Why does it?
Tokyo, name your character.
Yeah, I'll just take one review from JoJo's.
Tokyo, name your position.
I think my character wins.
Bro.
Careless,
Alright,
name your character.
Chris Rayon Space from Crossverse.
Careless, name your position.
I don't think my character loses.
Continue the
who's the
debate.
judges? Who's the judges?
Bro, we already got over this, bro. Just start it
It's
up.
Shizuku.
Bro, nigga, bro, shut the fuck up, nigga. Damn, bro.
Yes, bro. You don't want to
Chill on
fucking
Mono,
listen, bro.
bro.
Now you're gonna be
That's pretty
confused,
much
nigga. Just go on, you dumb bitch. God damn, nigga.
Exactly, bro.
Wait, so go first, bro. Please go first. I already went first. You know
Alright,
how
so
that.
I think my character just manipulates the laws of calamity.
What is that? What does that mean?
Yeah, so pretty much calamity is pretty much just any negative event. If my character can manipulate the calamity, he will just manipulate your character to like falling over on an anthill and just dying.
Okay, so a negative event. I assume this means like, he's like disaster manipulation of some sort, right? Like he's making disasters come up and shit because it's negative.
Yeah, in a sense, yes.
Okay. Wait, it's in this game.
Yes, it's
Where is that?
Even though
so
I
even
wanted to know, the chain of
Calamity-
death will start with you. Calamity approaches. This is in context to a character approaching Wonder
is there?
Review.
Can I read this game? Damn.
I
Okay,
just read it
so
out to you.
I assume this is this supports the claim that he can manipulate any negative effect.
Yes.
I don't see anything that says that in this game.
Okay, hold up.
Yeah, I want proof. I don't know what this means.
Sure.
Yeah.
So here's 3 scans talking about Wonder Review. If you need more
Let me
context,
just scan first. If
yeah,
you make
that's something.
visual contact with me, you will die immediately. The logic of this reason, the logic and reason of this word are tied together in a continuous sequence. The act of pursuit.
Yeah, so pretty much the flow of calamity is also a flow of reason. Logic and reason are...
Wait, but chill, bro. That's an entirely different claim, bro. The more you pursue it, the more it's likely that you will be torn apart and die. Its user is a rock human. What the fuck does that mean?
Pretty much all you need to know is he ate a rock.
Okay, why is it true? I don't know what this means.
Why is this true?
Yeah, I don't know what this means.
What do you mean? Why is this true? What do you
Why is
questioning?
any of the claims in the scan true? I don't.
Yeah, so this is so. First of all, the third scan comes from literally comes from like an information guide of JoJo. So obviously, this comes directly from the
Can
author.
I respond to what you just said?
What you say?
Can I respond to what you just said?
Go ahead.
Okay, why does that mean it maps onto the JoJo universe?
Because the author obviously knows about his universe. He obviously wants to give us more insight about the universe. So if he's going to give us more insight about the universe within this informational guide, then I don't see a reason for why.
The author can easily just lie and intend to.
Okay, do you have a reason to believe that?
Well, one, there's no contradiction. I wasn't done with the interpretation. Like, for example, a death of the author statement or a death of the author claim is similar to what I just said, but rather the author is making a secondhand, comment about the show or the narrative. It doesn't mean that the secondhand comment has to be taken as seriously as the first hand. So whatever that's included within the first hand, meaning the actual narrative material, I would like a reason for why that's true and corresponds to the third scan. If I don't get that, then I just will give an equal interpretation to the third scan, or my fault, I guess the data book or whatever the fuck the random statement it says, use as evidence.
Yeah. So, first of all, just because there's no contradiction does not mean that is a basis. I mean, there's no contradiction with you getting fucked in the ass right now. Are you actually getting fucked in the ass? Like, obviously not, because I have a basis to believe why you're getting fucked in the ass. So, I'm gonna actually need a reason for why you believe this, and then you also you'll go on to hold on. I wasn't done. then go on to say, oh well, this could contradict the narrative within the story, which you have no idea what the fuck the story is even about. So unless you can point out
give
the
it.
actual contradiction within the story or within the source material, I'm going to just dismiss this entire claim because you don't even have a basis for it.
You're not getting my point. Okay. Maybe I have to go like ABC by like 1, 2, 3, right? Listen, you said the first, the second, and the third scan justify the argument. The first and the second scan are being put into question. You used the third scan as a preponderance of evidence for the first and the second scan. You then said you obviously made it clear that the third scan is a second-hand point, a second-hand data point, which is distinct from the narrative in the first 2 scans you sent, which are actually occurring in the narrative. So the reason or the basis for the skepticism is just simply based off the idea that the second hand is distinct from the first hand. So why should I take the second hand as seriously as the first hand? You're not
Okay.
demonstrating the reason. You're not giving evidence for why the second hand is true or why even the first hand included within the 2 scans you sent, why are they true? You're not proving it.
Okay.
And
First
just
of all, I
because,
didn't.
wait, stop. And just because like I don't like list a contradiction, it doesn't necessarily mean like you're not. I don't think you get my point. My point is not simply based off of whether or not the third scan can contradict what happens in the story. It's just based off the fact that we don't know if the first or the second is true. Whether or not something is true is distinct from being a contradiction.
Okay. That's not what I said for your second point. I said just because there is no contradiction within the within the claim about or within the author lying that automatically that it's fucking wrong. What I said exactly was just because there is no contradiction does not mean it is valid. For example,
What
I
does that
can
mean?
believe. Hold on, yeah. I was just about to give you an example. For example, I can believe that you are robbing a bank right now just because there's no contradiction for it. That doesn't mean you're automatically robbing a bank. I would still need a basis for that.
I think you're
Criticism.
confused.
I wasn't. But I wasn't done. I wasn't done. I let you
Go
speak.
ahead.
Yeah. So yeah. Just because there is, I believe, just because there is a basis for, just because the basis is that, oh yeah, there's no contradiction, does not mean it is inherently. I do not believe that basis is inherently valid. Second of all, I never even referenced the 2 other scans within my point. I literally was just talking about this third scan, which you
Okay.
put into question. So the first material, aka the manga, you don't know what the fuck even the story is about because I don't think you read
What?
JoJo's. And it's very evident because you don't even know any of the basic things about JoJo's. So
Okay.
so let's yeah,
Is
I'm
that
just
it?
gonna like assume that you're no, I'm not done. He said something else. I'm trying to remember it. Oh yeah. So this is a second. So yeah, this comes from a guide about JoJo's. This is a secondhand guide about JoJo's coming from the author. And then you say something about the author. He says something about the author fucking having lying because it inherently has a narrator. Inherently, the author can lie. Which yeah, the author can lie, but he's trying to give us insight about the story. I don't think an author would want to lie about a story that he is trying to tell.
Oh my
That would
God.
just make the
Are
narrative.
you done? Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay, I don't know what you mean by bad narrative, but that's clearly why an author can. That's clearly why you would use the first hand evidence and the second hand evidence, because obviously, the second hand evidence is not subject. This is not subject to failing or failability the same way the first hand. My fault. The second hand is because obviously the first hand is you just getting the actual evidence first on their first hand account. The second hand is just an author giving his account of what he thought he wrote in the story, which is distinct from him just writing it on the story. So that's again, that's another reason for why we don't. Like, there's no reason we should take the second hand to be true. But to attack the other points once more, you're assuming that I'm committing myself to, I guess, like you're assuming I'm claiming something. I'm not claiming anything. I'm not saying that. Well, it's no contradiction, therefore it's true. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying possibly
That's
this
not
could
what I
just be a
said.
different. Can I talk, bro?
Go ahead.
Maybe be quiet, bro. You gotta stop. Listen. I'm not making the claim that just because there's no contradiction, I already gave a basis. Usually like the basis is adequate. I already gave the basis and I explained to you why it would be possible. You didn't even contradict that. You simply just saying or giving a recount of the possibilities I laid out without justifying why your interpretation is more likely or more plausible does not help your argument. You never actually explained why the second hand is likely to be taken to be true the same way as the first hand is. You just said that it can make a bad narrative. It's like bad faith or like bad thought. It doesn't necessarily mean that it means it's true. It's retarded.
Okay, yeah.
Because
Okay, so
an author can still establish a genuine story just based off the first hand.
yeah, I never disagreed to the fact that the author
So
can
I would
lie.
like
never
an
dis-
argument. Wait,
Yeah, can I?
bro, I wasn't done, bro. So I would like an argument for why the third scan again is true to the story of Dragon. My fault to JoJo. Once more.
Okay. I'm like, I'm not like saying that like, yeah, just because the author fucking absolutely wants to do this thing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's more probable that the author would want to
You said what?
yeah, I'm just saying it's more probable that the author would want to sell a good story because authors would more likely want to tell a story that would sell good, which means he would try to sell a good story.
Wow.
So that's why I do not believe the author would lie. Second of all, about the author, like about the guides being secondhand accounts, which I guess like when you say
Can I ask
it's
you a
like after
question?
the story. I wasn't done.
Oh, I just want you to re-explain the first point. Like, can I give like an account of like what I think you just said? Okay, well, okay. Word for it. Did you just say that the reason for why it's more probable is because the author wants to sell a good story and make money from the story, bro? When the whole
That's
point
kind
is
of
that
what
the
I
author
said.
can establish a genuine story, but through a first-hand account.
Okay. Yeah, he can
Wow.
establish a good story. He can establish a good story through a first-hand account, but what he's doing is adding on to the story, or adding context onto the story that the
How do
readers
we
would
know
want
that?
to have. Because
How do we know that if it's
that is
not
the
in the
point of a
story?
data book. That is the
Wait,
point of the
okay.
data
So
book.
a data book is, bro. You're not getting my point. A data book is not in the story. It's something distinct from the story itself.
A data book is about the story.
It can be about it, but it doesn't necessarily mean what it's telling us about is concrete or one-to-one with the story. That's why I've been saying this entire time that it can be just a secondhand account or a death of the author. It doesn't necessarily mean that what the secondhand is saying maps onto reality. You're not proving it. And then again, your reason doesn't prove anything. Like, you want to conclude?
No, I didn't even get to. Okay, I don't want to conclude.
Go ahead, bro.
The whole point about an author wanting to fucking or just being a secondhand account in a guide or a data book, I think it's irrelevant because inherently a author would still want to give context about the story within a data book. That is the point. I wasn't done.
I'm just asking you to repeat what you said, bro.
Okay. Yeah, the author would want to give context to the story in a data book. That is the whole entire point of a data book. When you're saying that, just because fucking the author can lie about this when you have no basis for why he's lying because
You said, can you repeat what you said?
that was okay.
Right.
A data book is inherently just giving more information about the story. Just because the author can lie.
Can I ask you a question before we continue? Okay, so by information, are you saying that the information in the manga already exists?
Yes.
Well, yeah. Can you prove that?
Can I prove that? Okay, cool. Now we can talk about these other two scans, which you put into question. Which I don't really understand how you put them into question. You just said, "Why are these true?"
Wait, are we moving from the prior 2 points?
I guess so. Yeah.
Like, do y'all need a judgment on that? Like, what's happening?
No, this point's more important than the other points.
So, what do you mean it's more? I'm so confused.
Because this is him actually proving the authorship of the secondhand shit.
Okay, but okay.
Okay. So this is what is talking about, calamity entirely. So in this scan it says those who commit active pursuit against.
What scan are you talking about?
I'm currently talking about this the third scan to talk about what is being implied in the other scans.
Oh, are you saying that? Oh, so like, can you sing the scans again? It's like kind of all the way up.
Okay. Sure. 1 second.
Oh, I assume this is when the calamity nigga says the little sentence, right? And he's talking to the girl.
There's 2 different scans like that.
Okay.
So what I'm referencing right now is in the third scan I originally sent.
Let me see.
Those who commit an active pursuit against the stand, the true identity of the TG University Hospital's head director, Satoru Ikifu, will suffer a power called calamity. The more you pursue it, the more likely it is that you'll be torn apart and die.
And
So,
this is in the second scan, right? The second and the third scan, right?
Yes. This is.
Wait, so
this
is the statements he's saying demonstratively true? Like, do we have an actual way of justifying the initial claim he made?
Yeah. Hold up.
Can I finish? Which is that he can negate any effect. And it's
Now,
not.
are you just asking? Is it true again?
Yeah, he's just asking for like.
Yeah, in different words, bro.
Besides the fact that I think the scans are just simply just justifying this claim entirely, and you're just.
Oh wait, I'm gonna just get clear. So he asked you at the start of this, why is this true? You told him that that's the only way.
Yeah. What is the judgment on the last point? Because wasn't they arguing on why it's true? Like, are we just moving? Are just restarting?
Yeah,
the
like
point?
that's also. I was so confused.
No, we're not restarting the point. No. Okay, this point, because remember,
Wait,
he said
what was the original, bro? Okay,
the original point. Bro, can I finish? The original point is whether or not we can take a data book statement to be true. He said a data book statement is merely giving context or explaining what already happened in the story, assuming what happened in the story is true.
I swear the first burden you placed on him is why should we take any of this to be true after you sent 3 scans?
I swear to God, you said
You could just say assuming what happened in the story is true. Are you a fucking retard, Careless?
Oh, bro, Kage, I promise you are the dumbest nigga in the
No, you're just a fucking retard. Like,
wait, how am I retarded?
Because some data books do be like you do be like stupid.
Like literally, I questioned the limit.
What's it called? So you put as a question what?
Bro, okay. I'll go one by one. Listen, when we first got onto the point, he was trying to justify why we take secondhand data book statements to be true. I gave a response to that.
Secondhand data book?
Yeah, or a random statement. I don't even know where this shit's from. Like, that's a big issue.
The scans that are in chat.
Yes, when he said, the big ass white scan that shows the nigga walking, bro. That's the data book scan he's talking about. Listen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you asked him inside of that scan. Why is this true? I never thought.
Yeah, I said, why is it true? Index to the narrative. Like, do we like? And then now we get onto this point.
So he said, yo, Choke, are you saying that these is like actually portrayed inside of the narrative and stuff?
Sorry, what did you say?
Did you say like this is like actually portrayed inside of the narrative and stuff? Because I did hear that.
Yes, I did.
Okay, Careless, you responded with what?
I said, how do we know that? Is it demonstratively true? Do we even know what Tokyo is saying?
And like, what was the response?
He's getting his scans, nigga.
Yeah,
that's what you're all. That's okay. That's so.
Literally just asking them to justify if this interpretation is just.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Simple as that.
Yeah. So here is an example of like fucking Wonder Review just straight up killing someone. Here's another example of Wonder Review.
Fuck is this nigga doing? Nigga eating his fingers? Treatment for the burn his neck.
Oh my god, I gotta fucking.
There is no way this is happening. That was the head doctor. The head doctor is Calamity Energy. Okay, I don't know what this means, bro.
Yeah, pretty much what this is.
And how does this justify the initial claim that he can make any negative effect happen? How are you proving that again? I don't see how this proves it. I see a nigga with his fingers in his mouth. How's that proving the claim?
Yeah, this is literally him dying because he was pursuing fucking Calamity or pursuing the Wonder Review, which literally is saying, yeah, that was the head doctor right now. The form of Calamity, the head doctor is Calamity Energy.
It's literally just saying. So let me get this straight. The argument is that in the JoJo scan you just sent, the reason for why the initial claim you said because we see the ability being used on a random character.
Yeah, you asked me.
And then
yeah,
it's support.
Hold on.
Okay. So now, so
you asked me to prove.
Okay,
you asked me to prove that this happens within the narrative. I did.
So what is the? Can I finish, bro?
Go ahead.
Okay, so is it only used on this character? Like, because
is it only used on this character? No.
Okay. So what is the limits of the ability?
I don't think there is inherently a limit. Or besides, hold on. Let me just expand on what I meant by there is no limit. So
wait, what was that claim? What was that claim? I could not hear that. Someone's background. Yo, come on.
That
Yo,
nigga
come
got
on.
some booty ass mic.
What?
Nigga
What?
mic
Dude,
some shit.
yo, dude,
Hey,
your
hey,
background,
you're
bro.
on mute, nigga. Your mic some booty.
My fault.
Okay. Yeah, what was the claims?
Nigga
I
got
couldn't hear it
fucking
because this
wires.
dude's at the laundromat.
Bro, he said that the scan shows the ability being demonstrated. Now we're on, like, even if I were to grant that, like, what does this mean?
Yeah, I
Like,
just heard some shit about limit and shit. Though you said there's no limit to the ability.
yeah, he
Yes,
said this
so
one.
I wanted to expand on that. So obviously, I think I think he can't perform logical incapabilities like not keys. I obviously think
There's a limit.
I obviously think if because I think this is all within physical. Obviously this is all within physicality. So you can't perform calamities on
Wait,
characters that do
how
not
do we
have
know that? How do we know that?
what?
How
Because
do we know that?
how do we know what?
How do we know it's referencing all physicality? What does that even mean?
Because of the scans that were sent previously, implying that yes, as long as your character is pursuing
The scans, bro, the scans you send can simply just be indexed to the set of people it's being used upon. Like, for example, let's say I be a weak ass old nigga with his penis out. It doesn't mean I can beat God now.
That's okay. That is inherently like fucking disingenuous, or not disingenuous, disanalogous. First of all, it's outright saying that everyone who pursues him is going to be hit with the law of calamity. And then we
Okay.
see you asked for evidence for this, and I sent you evidence, and
And it
now
can be placed within the set. That doesn't contradict my point.
it can be placed within the set. What? Expand on that.
It can be indexed to the members of the set. Like for example, the ability can be indexed to the old people I mentioned. It doesn't have to be indexed to anything outside of the set.
It's only okay. I'm
Okay,
guessing
I'm not the one making the claim it is. I want a reason for why it isn't.
because
I'm just saying it off.
the exact because that would be its exact words. And what the fuck, toxic is here?
Okay, I want you. You
That
gotta
would be
prove
their
that. Bro.
exact words.
You gotta prove that.
I gotta prove that it's their exact words, and they could just look at it. It's self-evident.
Okay, I want you to prove that the any is indexed to your interpretation. You're not proving that. I just gave an equal interpretation. I'm just saying that any can be placed within the set. Well, honestly, like I don't even think they're saying any in the scan.
Like, so you think it's
wait, bro. Where can I finish, bro? Additionally, I don't even know. Like, you're not like, what scan are you even talking about?
Oh my god, I'll send it again. Then I'm talking about the data book statement.
Okay, I get the data book statement, but let me see. The more you pursue it, it's likely you would die. And nothing about that scan says what you're saying.
Oh my god. Those who commit an act of pursuit against the stand, the true identity of the TG University head hospital's head doctor to execute them will suffer a power called the stand.
I think it's like a hasty generalization on your part, bro. I think you're assuming or just generalizing it because we don't even. I mean, based off of like what has been demonstrably used upon, we don't even have nothing in the actual narrative itself that confirms that. They're referring to your interpretation. So my argument about like they referring to old people could work here because one, they use it on weak ass niggas. They don't use it on anybody stronger than that. And then additionally, we don't even know like what the ability limit is. It's ambiguous.
Okay, so I didn't get to the. So first of all, I just want everyone to know I didn't get to expand on what the fuck I think all the ability fucking limitations are. So second, this being a place within the set is like, yeah, I agree. This is a possibility. This is a possibility. But however, what you're just saying is that first of all, you have no justification to why this is. You just say, well, it is a possibility, and all the evidence.
There's no contradiction.
What you said?
There's no contradiction or logical inconsistency with the interpretation.
Yes,
and it could match. Wait, bro, can I finish, bro? And the interpretation could map on just given the semantics of the scan.
Yeah, I agree to that so far. The only problem I have is that you're asking me to prove a claim that is inherently just on your birth because
What's wrong here?
You said what?
Because you're trying to
get army dude, bro.
What are you saying?
You're trying to interpret the words as a whole different
thing.
Can you repeat
what you said at the beginning, bro?
Okay. Yeah, I never disagreed to the fact that this is a possibility. I never disagreed to the fact there is no contradiction with this fucking interpretation.
Okay.
However,
you agree that it's like it can be illogical and shit?
No.
No.
What the fuck?
Wait, you said bro, yo, Kelly, did you not
The
ask
only
me the
thing
question that-
Careless is only saying that there could be a limit to it. It could be a set it's only applicable to, and it can't go outside that set. And then Tokyo is saying, yeah, I can grant this interpretation. He's questioning why it's the case.
But it's like shit.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. So I would like an argument for why we should accept your interpretation once more.
You need a breath, man.
Ironic.
Alright, but
Come on, but take your time, man. Actually, don't take it, man. I gotta go to sleep, nigga. Hello?
yeah, sorry, I had my mom in the background. But so yeah, about this entire thing about it being an equal interpretation. I think you have to inherently I think you have to inherently change the context of what these words are implying to actually justify.
We don't know what the context is. The only like slightest implication of the context the only slightest implication of the context is the fact that bro, my God, shut the fuck up. You take army dick, nigga.
Yeah, that wasn't done though. So I'll read out word for word what these words say. Oh my God, what the fuck? I'll read out word for word what these words say. Can this fucking dog be right back, bro?
Can I?
This nigga
Okay.